Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I thought we'd go ahead and make this cute little birthday card. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start by using the Birthday Girl stamp set from My Favorite Things. We're going to use her and that little saying and the coordinating die as well. And then from this set we're going to use that balloon, and this is called Birthday Chicks, and this is also from My Favorite Things. And again, we have the coordinating dies. We're going to be doing our stamping on the Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. This is a 100-pound weight cardstock. And we're going to ink these up with the My Favorite Things Extreme Black ink pad, which is a really dark jet black ink. So now I'm going to stamp that balloon 3 times. So I just rotated the paper and stamped it 2 more times. Now I'm going to grab my purple tape and I'm going to attach my dies. This is just a temporary tape to hold them in place while we run them through the machine. So I'm going to go ahead and get those in place. And now I want to run those through my Sizzix Sidekick machine. And so that's why I cut the paper down a little bit, just so they would fit in this machine here. And I'm going to quickly run those through. So now that we have that all set, I'm going to take the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens in pale green and light green, and I'm going to go ahead and color her in. I'm starting off with the lighter green, and I did speed this up just so you can see quickly what I did here. So I'm taking the darker green now and just doing a little bit of shadowing here. And then I'm going to go back to that lighter green and blend those two out. Now I'm going to be doing this a couple of times here. I wanted it to be a little bit darker, so I'm just leaving a little bit of a highlight down the center of her dress there. And now I'm going to grab my water brush and just blend that out. I'm coming in again with the darker green, and now I'm using the water brush here now, and I'm just going to pull those colors together. And again, I want to keep the center of her dress the lightest. Now I thought it was getting a little dark here, so I'm just taking a paper towel and just blotting up a little bit of the color, and then I'm going to continue to blend that out. So if you find that it's getting a little too dark, while it's wet, grab a paper towel and just blot up a little bit of the color. Now here I'm using those same shades of green again, and I'm doing the balloon. Again, just leaving the center a little bit lighter and using the water brush to blend those out. And I'm doing those 2 little elastic bands in her hair as well. Now with the gray and the light gray, I'm going to do her shoes. And I'm just placing the light gray down all over. And I know that's hard to see, but you'll see it better a little bit later here. And then I'm using the darker gray on the sides and just pulling it in towards the center. And in this case, I am using the lighter gray to do the blending. I'm just cleaning it off each time just to make sure it doesn't get too dark. Now I'm using the flesh color and the light pink to do her skin, and this light flesh color is just kind of a peachy tone, and I'm just going to blend that out with my water brush. I like to put the cheek color down when I do the flesh tone, just so then I can kind of blend the two together a little bit. Now I'm going to do the same thing for her arm here, just adding a little shadow along the edge of the dress there. And then for her legs, I'm going to add a little shadow at the just under the dress and along the shoes. I wanted her legs to have a little bit of a pinky tone to them. So now I'm just going to continue blending that out. And now I'm going to do the other arm there. Same thing, just adding a little shadow there, right where those bags are and under her arm there. Now I'm going to grab the violet and the lilac. So it's a lighter shade of lavender that I'm starting with here, and just kind of putting that all over the little gift bag. And then I'm going to add the darker tone And now I am going to use the water brush, just making sure that it's clean. And then I'm going to pull down from the top, and then I'm going to pull up from the bottom. Just try to leave a little highlight in the center of that bag there. And again, just keep cleaning it off so it doesn't get too dark. You can always use a paper towel here too if you feel like you're getting too much color. And now I'm going to do the same thing for these little gift bags that she's holding. Just putting the lightest color down all over and then coming in with the darker shade. Just at the top and at the bottom. I'm just going to blend those out. So now the next thing I want to do is take the lemon yellow and the yellow to do her hair. I just wanted to keep the hair really light. We are going to be adding a panel of yellow to this card, so I kind of wanted to incorporate that yellow color in. So I'm just adding a little bit of a highlight there with the darker shade and just kind of blending those out. Now I'm going to make one of the balloons the same exact color. And just pulling in from each side. And for this last one, I'm going back to those two shades of purple that we used to do the gift bags. Same exact technique here. Just leaving that little highlight down the center, but we will add another little highlight in a minute here. So now that I've got those done, I want to just dry everything a little bit. So I'm going to dry the little girl and the balloons. And then I'm going to come in with the Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen. This is a crystal clear sparkle pen. And I love this pen. I use it all the time. And I'm just going to add a little glitter highlight to those little gift bags. And now I'm taking my Jelly Roll white gel pen. And I'm just going to add some polka dots to her little dress here. I just wanted to bring in a little bit more of that white color. And I thought it would just make it look a little more whimsical. This is also a good way to kind of, if you didn't love your blending, this kind of camouflages things a little bit. So it's a good way to add just a little more dimension and maybe hide any flaws that you might have there. And now on these little balloons, I did let them dry as well. And then, I did dry them with the heat gun, and then I'm coming in with that sparkle pen again, and just giving those a little bit of sparkle. And you can see that there, how pretty that looks. Now I let those dry, and then I'm coming in with that white gel pen and just adding a little highlight there on each of the balloons. And I know that's hard to see, but I'm just adding a little line and a couple little dots just for a little highlight. And on the little bag there, I thought it would be fun to add a little stitching across the bottom. All these little touches just add a little more, dimension to your cards, and they're really easy to do. So now for this die here, it won't cut that complete center out. It makes a little flap, and it is called the Stitched Interactive Window Trio. So it will make like a little hinged window. And then for this one, I'm just going to be cutting out that inside portion. But it does do a stitched border. This is a stitched rectangle word window. But we're just going to be using the inside of that. So now I'm going to take my cardstock. This is a 100-pound cardstock, and I will give you the information for that down at the bottom. So check the supply list. And I'm going to cut this panel 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm using the Tim Holtz trimmer to do that. Now I'm going to take that panel and I'm going to place it down sort of towards the bottom of the card, maybe about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom, and centering it on each side. And I'm putting some tape on that to run it through my machine. And then I'm also going to just position this word window on the same type of cardstock and run those through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine. And now that I have those cut, you can see there that it creates a stitched window, which we're not going to use today. We just want that inside piece, just that banner. And we could certainly have cut that using a trimmer as well, but I just thought that would be easier. So now I'm removing the tape from this, and you can see here now that we have these little interactive windows. But for this purpose, I didn't want those, so we're going to cut those off. This is another way to look at your dies, see what different ways you can use them and make them work for the project that you're doing. So I'm grabbing the Tim Holtz clear ruler here, and I'm using the metal edge side. You want to make sure you use the metal edge so that you don't cut into the ruler. Just press down really firmly and cut through. And I'm going to cut each of those little squares right out of the center there. And that's going to give us this really pretty stitched trio of windows. And I did use a cutting mat to cut those, and I'll give you the information for that as well. Now I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers trim and scoreboard to do the cutting and the trimming and the scoring. So this panel is 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to make a standard A2 size card by scoring it at 4 1/4. And I've said it before, but that trimmer is also a scoreboard, so it's really nice. It's like an all-in-one tool. And now I'm just pressing out the fold on that, and now you can see that's going to be positioned over that card. So this is the My Favorite Things Roses All Over Pastels 6x6 paper pad, and I'm using the yellow piece, and I'm cutting it at 5 by 2 1/4, and that so it will just sit behind that panel. Now I'm going to grab some score tape, and this is the 1/4 inch score tape, and I'm just going to place some tape all around the back of that panel. Now I'm going to remove the backing from that, and I'm just going to position it in place, and this will just sit behind that trio of windows that we've created. I just didn't want any of it to show out from the sides, so now you can see that it fits there perfectly. So now I wanted to pop this up a little bit, so I'm going to take some Scotch foam mounting tape, and I'm just going to place that all over the back. I do cut my foam kind of in half. I like to be kind of frugal with it, so I'm just trimming down some pieces. You could certainly just put the whole panel right on there and make it easier for yourself. But I did it this way, and now I'm just going to position that panel right over the top here. Now this would also make a great shaker card. You could add some clear acetate in those windows and put some shaker elements in there. But I chose not to for this particular card, but that would certainly be a cute thing that you could also do here. So now I'm going to add the little, just trying to figure out where I want everything to be here. And I think that looks pretty good. So she's sitting up on top of that panel there, so I'm just going to place tape right down the center so she can sit right there in the middle. But I thought I should put a little foam tape on the little bags there because they are sitting up over that opening of that window, and I don't want them to collapse when they go through the mail. So I'm just going to put a little bit of foam tape on the back there. So now that looks good, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing from the tape and position that down. Now for the little balloons, I'm going to be using the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and I do like this adhesive. It's very secure, and it always comes out of the container really easily. You don't have to get it started or anything. And then for that balloon, I thought I would just trim off a little bit and tuck it behind. So now that looks pretty good. Now I want to do a little word banner here. So I'm going back to the stamp set, and it says, "Hey birthday girl." And I'm going to just put a little tape down here with my Tombow glue tape, and I'm going to position that on my Misty. Now I could have easily stamped this saying first on a piece of paper and then die cut it out, but I just thought this was easier. So by doing it this way, there's not a lot of room for the magnets. So I just put the tape down and it holds it in place while I do my stamping. And again, I'm going to be stamping with the My Favorite Things Extreme Black ink. So now we have that saying, and now I want to add a little foam tape to the back of that as well, just to add a little bit more dimension here. I am going to leave it white, and I just wanted kind of a white on white look here. I only really wanted the little girl and the balloons to add color to the card. So I'm just going to leave this white as well. And now you can see that adds a little bit more dimension there. And now I was trying to decide what I wanted to do. It looked a little plain. So I'm going to add some more white using the Sparklettes from Buttons Galore and More. And this is the Cactus set. And it's got some little pink hearts in there, some green pearlized little gems in there. It's really nice. These little collections are beautiful. And I'm going to grab my Marvy jewel picker to pick these up. It has a larger tip and a smaller tip. And this has a little sticky on it, which helps you pick up these little embellishments really easily. So I'm just kind of placing them on the card here, just randomly. Again, kind of sticking with that white, adding a little bit more white to the card. And just kind of deciding where I want these to be. So that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go back to that Nuvo adhesive, and I'm going to just add a little dot of it and position these down. And you can see how that jewel picker really makes this job a lot easier. So I just sped this up a little bit just so you could see how quickly it went. And now we've got all those in place. And you can see now we have a lot of dimension. But really the focus is this little girl and her gift bags and her balloons. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.